Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today it is the third quarter of 2025, which means it is time for my TBR jar. And that is the third one of this year. I can't believe we're up to the third already. But before we pick those reads, I first need to let you know how quarter two went. So in quarter two, the books that we read were Immortal by Su Lin Tan, Mrs. England by Stacey Halls, Four Seasons in Japan by Nick Bradbury, Night Watch by Terry Pratchett, and The Lost Bookshop, which I have lent out to my seamstress who is making my wedding dress at the moment. I don't have that in physical form at the moment, but let's go through the books and I'll give you my stars out of 5 for them. I'll also pop a link above to their book reviews as they come out. Mrs. England I'm not actually doing a full book review for, so I will talk about that one a bit more than the others in this video. First of all, let's go into my Pratchett read of the second quarter, which was Night Watch, and this one I gave 5 stars. There's a review coming out. I'll pop a link above so you can watch that. It's perfection. I loved it. Read it. It's so easy when it's Pratchett to review. Next up, I will do the book club read, which was The Lost Bookshop. This one I gave 3 stars to. There is a review coming. I'll pop a link above me now for when that comes out. It was okay. It started really well, really strong. It lost me a bit. It sort of seemed to promise more than it gave for me personally, but 3 stars is still a decent read. We'll then go into the TBR picks that I got. So first off, Four Seasons in Japan by Nick Bradley. This one I gave 4 stars out of 5. I liked it so much more than I thought I would, and it's one that I'm going to keep. I think I will read it again. I really liked it. It explores the 4 seasons of Japan through a grandma and their grandson, and just link above. It's good. The next one that came from the TBR jar was Immortal by Su Lin Tan. Now, I absolutely adore Su Lin Tan's writing. I gave this one a 3.5 stars out of 5, so still a good read, but it wasn't as good for me as The Daughter of the Moon Goddess duology by Su Lin Tan, which I absolutely love, and I have reviews on that. There's a review coming out of this. I don't know, it lacked a bit of sparkle, and I think the twist at the end, I will reread this because I think now that I know the twist, I think if I read it again, I will enjoy it more. Because the first time you read it, until you know that twist, honestly, it feels a bit strange, the romance in it. But now I know what happens with that romance, it now makes more sense and might actually read better the second time round. And the final TBR jar book from the second quarter was Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. This is the first Stacey Halls that I've ever read, and I gave this 3 stars out of 5. It is very well written, but kind of like The Lost Bookshop, except better written. It kind of felt like it was promising more than it gave. It promised a lot of sort of mystery in there when you start to read it, but it didn't quite pay up enough for that, but it is a very good read. I do have 2 quotes in this, which I'll share with you guys. Page 221. I've injected a diluted solution of cocaine, which will diminish pain in the lungs and stimulate the brain to produce more oxygen. Cocaine for asthma. Seriously, old-time medicine amazes me. And finally, page 383. When I was not much older than you, I had an accident. It didn't cause me great pain in my body, but it did in my mind. I was very sad for a long time. It made my spirits low, and when your spirits are low, it's hard to see the point in anything. Nobody understood how I suffered. Everybody told me I was lucky to be alive. They expected me to be happy, but I wasn't. And that made everything seem worse. I felt very hopeless and alone. A really good insight into depression and trauma. It is a really good read. It's not one I'm going to keep in my collection. It's not a reread for me, but 3 stars is still good, and it is very well written. I am still looking forward to reading the other Stacey Hall books that I have. That's it from my quarter 2 TBR wrap up, which now means we're on to quarter 3. I'm so excited. I really enjoy making these. I mean, I feel apprehensive because I don't know what's going to come out of this jar, but also very excited. First of all, like with my other 2, I will always read a Pratchett book per quarter. and a book club read for the quarter, and then I will pick 3 prompts from my TBR jar for a remaining 3 reads. So let's begin with the Pratchett. The Pratchett I'm going to be reading during this quarter is A Hat Full of Sky. This is the second book of Tiffany Aiken, and I believe it is number 33 of the Discworld series. I'll write it down here. I could be right, I could be wrong. Let me read you guys the blurb for A Hat Full of Sky. Crivens. A real witch never casually steps out of her body, leaving it empty. 11-year-old Tiffany does, and there's something just waiting for a handy body to take over. Something ancient and horrible which can't die. Wise, witty and wonderful, A Hat Full of Sky is Terry Pratchett's second novel about Tiffany and the Wee Free Men. The rowdiest, toughest, smelliest bunch of fairies ever. They'll fight anything, and even they might not be enough to save Tiffany. You know it's going to be good. It's one of Pratchett's middle grade reads. I'm excited to read this. It's going to be such a good time. The book club read for the third quarter of 2025 is going to be Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-Reum. This is a Korean translated literature, and it just sounds like a beautiful read. It is translated by Shanna Tan. Let me read you below. Youngju did everything she was supposed to. Go to university, marry a decent man, get a respectable job. Then it all fell apart. Burned out, Youngju abandons her old life, quits her high-flying career, and follows her dream. She opens a bookshop. In a quaint neighborhood in Seoul, surrounded by books, Youngju and her customers take refuge from the lonely barrister to the unhappily married coffee roaster and the writer who sees something special in Youngju. They all have disappointments in their past. The Hyunam-Dong Bookshop becomes the place where they all learn how to truly live. This just sounds like a really wholesome read, sort of like the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. And I did live in Korea for 2 years, so I'm excited to return to Korea. Yeah, my first Korean translated literature. Alright, it is time for the TBR jar. I always feel scared and I don't know why. All the books in this house I want to read. There's nothing to fear. Hopefully. First one, read a Brandy Sandy. So read a Brandon Sanderson. I've never actually read a Brandon Sanderson, but they are right next to me, so that's good. I think I'm choosing between 2 here. I have the Tress of the Emerald Sea. This one was one Matt bought me for my birthday, which he won't read until I read it. So I should really read this one. There is also Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which is a book I bought Matt and he says I will absolutely love. So which one should I read? I have seen an interview with Brandon Sanderson. I'll pop a link below if I remember which one it was. And he said that if you've never read his work before, he would recommend this one or the Mistborn series. I am already busy reading a series, and I have another series I really want to read after that one, so I don't want to get into another fantasy series. I'm going to go this one. I should read this one, and I know I should because obviously Matt wants to read that, but I'm going to go with this one because Brandon Sanderson said so. So the Brandy Sandy I'm going to read is the Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Look at that artwork. Look at how beautiful it is, and I think, guys, you know I'm going to like it because it's already gorgeous. Oh, it's even got, like, the formatting. Look at that. Right. Let me read you guys the blurb. Scrap irons going past. There is a world, one of endless night, surrounded by an even deeper darkness, filled with nightmares come to life, twisted shapes that slink to windows and ease open doors, sliding across floors to look down on helpless faces. There is another world, a bright world so bright it burns, filled with stacked stones that call forth miracles, raised by calloused hands that tremble in their work, drained with each stone lifted, settled, lifted again. Between these worlds, two souls connect, collide, entwine, a bridge, a path, a road to both worlds, changing forever. That sounds really good. This one I know that Brandon Sanderson actually wrote for his wife during COVID. He says it's a good one to read if you've never read any of his work before. My first Brandon Sanderson is going to be Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I'm excited. That is a good start. Second one. Do a dig, dig. I've got 3 in my hand there. Okay. You ready? Ah! Oh no. Read a classic. What counts as a classic? I wasn't expecting that one to come up. Okay. Night Watch has just become a classic by Terry Pratchett, but I've just read that one, so it can't be that one. Think you are a classic? That's one. Okay, I have 4 books to choose from. I'm not sure if it is a classic or not, but I think it is. One is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. So this is technically 2 books in one. It's the Alice in Wonderland series. I've never actually read it. I've watched all the different versions of it. That's an option. We have a Japanese classic, which is Spring Snow. Who are you by? Translated by Michael Gallagher. Doesn't actually say. Excellent. But it is the first novel in the Sea of Fertility tetralogy. I have heard of this, so that's one. Now, is this a classic? The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. Is that a classic? I feel like, is Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky a classic? In my head, any ones with the SF on are classics. This might be cheating, but I'm pretty sure it's a classic, and I know Matt really wants me to read this book. I'm going to go The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I'm pretty sure it's a classic. I apologise if I'm wrong. Do comment down below. Do tell me if I'm wrong. I promise I'll change to one of these and read it, so let me know. I'll read you guys the blurb. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone. It has to be made like bread, remade all the time, made new. 2 people, until recently strangers, find themselves on a long, torturous and dangerous journey across the ice. One is an outcast, forced to leave his beloved homeland. The other is fleeing from a different kind of persecution. What they have in common is curiosity about others and themselves, and an almost unshakable belief that the world can be a better place. As they journey for over 800 miles across the harshest, most inhospitable landscape, they discover the true meaning of friendship and of love. So many authors, David Mitchell, Neil Gaiman, The Guardian, they all say to read this. I'm going to class it as a classic, right? Second TBR pick. Okay, the final TBR pick. Why do I do that face? I gotta stop doing that. I don't think that second face was much better, if I'm honest. The last TBR pick. Free pick! I get a freebie? Oh! Okay, hold on. I can't go mad. What I should read is a book that is on my New Year's book tag that I have to read this year. Let me get some of those. I can't actually remember all the ones that are on that list, but I'm pretty sure all these 4 are. So I have The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton, The Familiars by Stacey Hall, Clara and the Sun by Kazu Ishiguro, and Blossoms and Shadows by Leanne Hearn. These are all books I've had in my collection for a long while. What have I already got? So I'm already reading a comedy fantasy, a Korean translated literature, a fantasy and a fantasy. Well, at least these are different. I don't think these are fantasy. I think they're more historical. Do I do Stacey Hall's? I read Stacey Hall's last time. That one has witchcraft. I do love witchcraft. Quite a chonker. 420, and it's a historical fiction. I know that one lots of people have read and adored. This one, Matt says, is quite slow. Similar word count, so in the 400 words. I've never read a Jessie Burton. This one is like, in 2024, I said I had to read Memoirs of a Geisha. This is that book for me this year. Oh, this one is the largest. Oh, it has like, I think this is also historical. Forbidden Love and War from the author of the multi-million copy selling Tales of the Atori. Tales of the Atori is why I got this. I love Tales of Atori. Okay. And then this one is a people watching one, I've been told. Oh, this is a hard choice. This one is the shortest. Oh man, free pick and I'm stuck. How can I be stuck on a free pick? Let's do it. I'm going to plunge in. I'm going to read the biggest. I'm going to read the one that must be read this year. Blossoms and Shadows by Leanne Hearn. Let me read you guys the blurb. Japan, 1857. An age of unrest and turbulence as new beliefs clash with long-held traditions. Caught in the middle is Tsuru, a young woman who dreams of being a doctor. But in 19th century Japan, she can only follow the wishes of her father. While he allows her to study medicine, he also expects her to marry. But in doing so, Tsuru must betray what is truly in her heart. So it just sounds good, right? We're doing it. That's the one. Okay, we have done it. The TBR, my third quarter TBR jar picks are, for a free pick, we have gone with Blossoms and Shadows by Leanne Hearn. For a classic, we've gone for The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. For Brandon Sanderson, we have gone for Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. My book club read for this quarter is Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-Reum and translated by Shanna Tan. And the Terry Pratchett for this quarter is A Hatful of Sky by Terry Pratchett, the second book in the Tiffany Aiken series. I think that's quite a good mix. Yeah, I'm happy with that. We're happy. And that's it for my third quarter TBR jar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, if you have any prompts you would like in my TBR jar, do comment down below and let me know because I'd love to add to this. And thank you for watching. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like to see since I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Tumblr. I post my bookish pictures as well as more tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.